Good evening, everyone, and a warm welcome to Tuesday Meet. After a long break, we are delighted to resume our Tuesday Meet. Today's session will be conducted as an audio meet, and we are happy to have you all with us. The topic for today's session is Understanding ITR Forms. It is my pleasure to introduce our host for today, Dr. Ramnath Gute sir. He is founder of WealthCon and HealthCon, a renowned radiologist from Mumbai, and also holds an MBA degree in finance, bringing together expertise in both medicine and finance. Please join me in giving him a warm welcome. Over to you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you everyone who joined this meeting on the short notice. This will be 1 hour meeting, and this meeting is purely for the educational purpose. To make any decision regarding the finance taxation, you need to do little more research, or you can consult the respective expert. Today's topic is very specific. It is for the ITR forms. My question to you is very simple. You write in the chat box. Which ITR form do you fill or have you filled last year? If you are not done, your CA must have done. You write the name, number of the form, which ITR form, or you write, I don't know. Okay. Which form have you filled last year? Answer will be either number or do not. So do not know is a good answer, because then you have lot more to learn. So before we start to the forms, just note down these dates which will be relevant to you. These are the last date of submission, the return. 31st July for the salaried individuals, pensioner or HUF. 31st August is businesses in which audit is not required and professionals. And you can see the numbers as well. ITR 1, 2, 3, 4. And 31st October is the date where audit is required. So you might have read the names here: individual, HUF, company, and so on. So understand one terminology in the income tax: person. When we talk about person in English language or anything, what does person mean? When we talk about person in normal circumstances, we are talking about the human being who is living entity. But in case of income tax, person can be living and non-living. Non-living is also called as person. There is no soul, no life, but they are also considered as person. So individual is a person who is a human being, entity, living entity. All other are non-living entities. For example, Hindu undivided family, partnership, limited liability partnership, association of persons, body of individual, trust, private limited company. Okay, these are all persons. So if you want to understand the tax, first thing you have to understand is the definition of person, or who is a person the act is talking about. Let's go again here. So if you have the partnership firm, what is the due date for you? So this is an interactive session. This is not a lecture where I will talk continuously and you will listen half or forget rest of the things. My question is, you are a partnership firm in which audit is not required. Which is the due date? If you are a partnership firm in which audit is required, or individual, so remember, for all audit, October. If you are an individual, which is the last date? Now I'm talking about individual without audit. So forget about audit cases. Non-audit, I'm talking about non-audit case. Audit means Audit done by chartered accountant. She check all the bills, some income, expenses, and all the things. That is audit. Let's focus on not audited cases. So 31st July is the last date. How many of you file ITR yourself? Write in the chat box. Now, when I say ITR, now this is another word which is misleading and confusing, where people get confused. What is return? When we say file ITR or income tax return, let's talk about income. What is the meaning of this statement or phrase, income tax return? Is it the income tax payment? Okay, so return is not tax payment. Return is reporting or information to the government about your income. You are not returning any income as such. Tax payment is a separate entity, separate terminology. So return is not a tax payment. It is the reporting. You may ask then, why don't they say reporting instead of return? Can anyone guess? Why don't they say there's just income tax reporting? Simple. Instead of return, they could have said it will be self-explanatory. Any guess? TDS return is also filing, reporting. TDS is also filing. To understand why they call this as a return, you'll have to go to the historical background 300, 400 years ago, where kings used to issue the coins. And every year they have to return the coins. And then they reissue the new coin and they do auditing and all the things. So it was the returning of the coins. And that word still being, we say, misused or misunderstood. So in an income tax, return means report. Clear? So don't get confused. Now, if there is a tax liability, then you'll have to do the tax payment. It can be done either advance tax or TDS. TDS is also advance tax, or you pay yourself. That is also called as advance tax. If advance tax is not required, then you can pay after the year ending. It is called as self-assessment tax. These are the tax payments. Today I'm talking about return, not tax payment. Okay. Now, government or income tax department wants your report in a specific format because they don't want to break their head. So instead of that, they will say, fill the forms so that you yourself will do your work and they will get ready-made summary. So government people are very fond of forms. Whatever do, they just form this form, that form, hundreds of forms, application forms. Because if people give random information, it will be impossible for tax department to do all analysis and the things. So they developed the format. Maybe in the beginning there might be only single form, but as things get complicated, they developed many forms. Okay, so ITR form, it is called as ITR form. Then form 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So let's understand the forms and when one can file the form. The form is nothing but the format, specific format of the reporting. Okay, so let's check one by one. Form 1, ITR 1. It is also called as Sahaj. Hindi word Sahaj means easy. Who is eligible? So it is better to take notes, even if it is available easily on the YouTube, Google, that's okay. But when you write the notes, you are writing notes in your memory or you remember. So writing is actually creating memory. Everything is available on YouTube, Google, but it still many people do not know it because you have to make some efforts to understand. Remember, ITR form number 1. Who can file? The resident individual. Now you see the word again, resident. This is also an interesting concept in income tax department. Income tax department classify persons. Now you understand the person. Person includes living and non-living. Now this resident also classified into resident Indian, that is normally resident or ordinary resident. Then something called as non-resident. And third interesting category is non-resident, resident but not ordinary resident, NOR. That is unnecessary made the classification. So there are the definitions of who is called as resident, who is called as non-resident. So muti or by default, you say if you stay more than 6 months or 182 days in India, you called as a resident. And then there are other definitions as well. But let's understand these 3 terms. Why this is important? Because if your son or daughter or relative is staying abroad, then these things will come into picture, because taxation is different for the resident, non-resident, and NOR. Form 1 is for resident and individual. That means it is not applicable for the businesses or firm. So if you are a resident and individual, and again there are certain criteria. So income from the salary or pension, income from the one house property. Now it is increased to 2 house properties. Write down 2 house properties. On income from other sources, and agriculture income up to 5,000. Okay. And there is one more point. If your capital gain on equity is less than 1.2 lakhs, so these people can file ITR. So this become easy. So under the Income Tax Act, there are 5 headings of income. Write down. 1 is salaried income. Second is house property income. Third is business and profession, BP. Fourth is capital gain. And fifth is remaining, that is other sources like rent, other sources like interest and dividend, maybe lottery. Kaun banega crorepati. So these are the 5 headings. So can anyone write 5 headings of income tax in the chat box? First, salary. Second, house property. House property means rental income from the house property. If you have more than 2 houses, then there will be rent will be applicable. If you have only 2 houses, then you rental income is not considered as a tax, or no need to say show the income unless there is actual rental income. Previously there was one, but recently with last few years, government gave, let's say, take 2 houses. Third is business profession, business and profession. Fourth is capital gain, and fifth is other income, which residual. Anything which cannot be classified into above 4 is put into other income. So this ITR 1 is created for the average people whose income is less than the 50 lakhs and they do not have the capital gain and business income. Okay. Then there are few small conditions. If there is a capital gain, you cannot file the ITR or ITR 1. If there is a business income, you cannot file. So first criteria to understand the ITR is there any business income? If answer is yes, you will have to go for 3 or 4 for business income. Okay, you cannot file ITR 1 and 2 if there is a business income. Second question, if there is a capital gain, then you have to file 2, not 1. Okay, so these two decide which form you have to fill it. It is not necessary that you have to file the same form every year. It depends upon which income head you are. Let's say someone stopped his practice this year. Last year he filed ITR 3. Now he stopped practice, so he doesn't have business income. So he can file ITR 1. So it is not necessary. So these are the few conditions where you will not file the ITR 1. If there is capital gain, there is a business professor. If you are director of company, if you are NRI, as I said, this is not applicable for NRI itself. And if you are foreign asset. So 90% of the people of tax file, Indian people do not fall into this. They have only income from the salary. They may have 1 or 2 houses and other income. They do not have business income. So this is simplified format. And I bet this can be done by anyone easily who can understand the English and feel. So those who are eligible for this, I say that you don't need any expert to file ITR 1. You can just go on the YouTube. Recently, you can find any video how to file ITR. There will be thousands of video already posted. You can just log in and do it. Even my assistant, they are filing their own ITR. So who are eligible for ITR? Can anyone write in the chat box? Let's understand who are the ITR 1 people. You say no. Who are miss? No theory. Write whether you are applicable or not for yourself. Is it applicable for you? Yes, no, yes, no. So if it is yes, you file ITR 1 yourself or this year only. So even if your CA has done it, you can do demo that this is the things I will have to file. So if you are eligible for ITR, I suppose you do ITR filing yourself this year. If not, if it already filed next year. So take home message for those who are eligible for ITR, do it yourself. You do not need any expert. That is the why it is called as Sahaj. Anyone can do it. Okay. So if you are eligible for this, if you are eligible for ITR within these conditions, resident individual, these are the sources of income, and this you are not falling into this ITR 1. Suppose you have you are a professional, let's say doctor, okay, and your revenue is less than 50 lakhs. Revenue means collection. Revenue, many people misunderstand between revenue and income or profit after tax. Revenue is whatever coming inside, okay, and the profit after income is whatever money remains after the income, after the tax. So let's go to the form number 4. Okay, so all condition in the form number 1 plus if you have business income and you are going to show the presumptive the filing under the presumptive taxation, and who can file the resident individual, HUF and partnership. Now for the doctors, HUF can't be have the profession. This is for other business. For the doctors, individual and partnership. So write down who can file ITR for individual professionals and partnership. HUF cannot run the profession because it is a specialized profession. It needs degree. HUF cannot have. So only 2 entities, especially for the medicals, individual and partnership firm, whose business income revenue is less than 50 lakhs. Since last 1 or 2 years, the revenue limit is increased up to 75 lakhs. However, your cash transaction should be less than 5%. Okay. So what is a presumptive tax regime? Suppose if your income is 48 lakhs and your all expenses, whatever the expenses, your expenses are maybe 18 lakh. Okay. So you can declare your profit 30 lakhs and you do not have to get account audited. You don't need books of account. Straight away, revenue 48, whatever the amount is gone from your bank account outside, that you can show as expense and remaining amount as a profit. This is the presumption. It is presumed that this amount has been gone into the expenses, whether it is personal or professional. It doesn't make a difference to as per the accounting and taxation. However, if your 48 lakhs revenue and your expenses are 8 lakhs, and someone will say that as per law you can say you can declare up to 50%, and someone will misguide that you can declare 40% profit. This is a misinformation amongst many people. The law says that if your profit is more than 50%, then you declare either actual or at least 50%, whichever is the higher. You cannot declare less than 50% profit under 44 ADA. Okay. And rest of the things are as per ITR 1. So who is eligible for this ITR 4? Write in the chat box. Not a theory, whether it is eligible for you or not. Yes, you can write yes, no. Criteria is that you should not have the capital gain. You should not have the other criteria as per the this more than 50 lakhs revenue, and you are not a director, you not have two houses. So is it applicable to ITR 4? Okay. Is it applicable to you or no? Write here this. Don't write for whose this is applicable. It is already explained. My question is this applicable to you? ITR 4. Okay. If yes, go and file it yourself. Why? This is also very easy to file. Very easy, because you don't need too much accounting for that. What you have to declare is the revenue less than 50 lakhs. If it is online transaction, bank transaction, up to 75, provided your expenses or even income is these are not cross transaction more than 5%, then it is 75 lakhs, and you can declare the income of at least 50% or actual profit, whichever is the higher. No questions asked. They will not ask what are the books of accounting and audit, etc. As I said, there is a misconception that people say that you can just declare the profit 50%. Law is very clear. It says whichever is the higher, either actual or minimum 50%. This is ITR 4. Suppose you are not eligible for ITR 1, you are not eligible for ITR 4. Let's go to next thing. Do you have business income? If business income, then directly go for the ITR 3. If there is no business income, then you might be applicable for ITR 2. Okay. This is about individuals. Non-individuals, there is another form for 5, 6, 7 that will discuss later on. But for individual 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's summarize now. So 1, 4, 3, 2. Income 44 ADA applicable plus conditions of 1. The basic conditions. According to me, most of the salaried doctors, if they not have capital gain, they will fall into the ITR 1. Professional also, if they not have the capital gain, they will fall into the ITR 4. If there is a capital gain, this and no business, then it will be ITR 4, ITR 2. That means you have the salaried income, whichever the amount. But if you have the capital gain, short-term capital gain as well as long-term capital gain, if it is more than 1.25 in the equity, you will straight go to the ITR 2. So let's ask one question. Dr. Amit is a salaried individual. His income is 54 lakhs from the salary, and he has 10 lakhs capital gain. Which form he has to file? This question is to you. If there is a capital gain and there is no business income, directly go to 2. Okay, this one. If there is a capital gain and there is no business income, form number 2, irrespective of salary amount. So this is it. If there is a business income, and then it either 3 or 4, where if it is this is also business income, but it is a limited. So if there is a business income, either 3 or 4. If there is a capital gain and no business income, then it is a 2. Okay. Now, if your partnership firm or LLP, how many of you have the firms and LLP? Firms and LLP. So 5. So remember, F is for 5. Firms 5, LLP 5. So this is a different form. And then there are other persons like association of persons body. So your medical association, they file ITR 5. So if you are the association president, secretary, you go and check, treasurer, go and check which ITR form has been filled. It will be ITR 5, association of person body. If it is a private company, but it is not showing as a trust in, we say that income from the donation, then ITR 6. And there are some special companies which are for charitable companies, they will go for 7. Okay, so these are the 7 forms applicable to different entities. Suppose the hospital, Metropolis Hospital, Metropolis Private Limited. Which form is suitable? Or Disha Diagnostic Private Limited, Arya Diagnostic Private Limited. Let's say Arya. Which form? Company is 6. F is 5. If it is a firm, 5. Remember, F means 5. See, I'm giving you memory techniques as well. And company is bigger, so 6. Firms के अंदर miscellaneous भी है, but usually you keep only firm only, partnership firms and LLPs. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Today's discussion was focused on the ITR forms only. This cannot be an entire taxation discussion. So let's ask some questions about whatever we discuss about ITR forms, and then we'll try to figure it out. Okay, the question is, which form should NRI submit as my son is abroad? So NRI cannot file 1 and 4. Individual NRI can file 3 and 2. Okay. And I presume that if your son is abroad, that means he might not have the business income in the India. If it is not business income, then 2. If it is a business income, then 3. Okay. Question is, suppose doctor with salary, freelancing income, then which form? So Dr. Srikanth is the salaried income and freelancing. So freelancing income is professional income, professional and business. Freelancing is the BP income or PB income. I used to say BAP income. So if there is a BAP income, then it will be either form 3 or 4. 4 is applicable if freelancing income is less than 50 lakhs. Okay, let's go to the next question if it is there. One question, if we are making income from the Zerodha, capital gain. So write down, if it is capital gain and no business income, form 2. There are only 2-3 statements you have to write it down. If there is a capital gain and no business income, form 2. If last year ITR field is 3 with audit, can we file ITR for this year provided income is due limit? Yes. So this form does not, as I mentioned in the beginning, it does not mandate that if you have filled, this is just a form. Okay, so don't worry. But there are certain conditions which, if your conditions under ITR fulfilled, you can file. So just be aware, this is just a form. It is not mandatory that if you are filing ITR 1 last year, you cannot file. The conditions are that for that particular year, not last year. And if it is audit is required, then it must be ITR 3 only. Okay. So these all conditions are applicable every year. So you have to check whether you are applicable this year or not. Next is for the ITR 3 and 4, both professional business income consider yes. For for the ITR 4, professional, both form are for professional business, but ITR 4 is for the limited income with limited conditions. So ITR 3 is extensive, in which everything you can fill. If you have business income, if you have capital gain, if you have salary, everything can be put into ITR 3. 3 is a jumbo form, 100 pages form. It's a very big form. As a private practitioner with own hospital, which one I have to use ITR form 3? So here you have to classify. Private practitioner means individual. Second, is your revenue more than 50 lakhs? If it is yes, form 3. If it is no, you can fill the form 4. So I suggest whoever is eligible for form 1 and 4, be self-reliant. You can file yourself this year only. You can watch 2 or 3 videos on YouTube just for the logistics purpose. This is completely easy. 1 and 4. 2 and 3 are little more information. Maybe you need help from the professional. 44 ratio is not understood. 44 ADA is the, see why this presumptive tax regime. So government says that, see, for the professionals or business whose income is very less, unnecessary audit, accounting, so why to waste their money? So they provided something called as presumptive tax regime. This is very interesting concept. Everyone should know it. So it says there are 3-4 sections, but for the doctors in a previous law, it was the 44 ADA. Now it has changed, but just this is famous for the professionals. Doctors and even accountant and lawyers can file that. The condition is your revenue is less than 50 lakhs and your profit is more than 50% of revenue, 50% of revenue. then you are eligible to file income tax under 44 ADA. There is one more caveat. If your 95% of the transaction are in a bank transfer or UPI, then this limit can be go up to 75 lakhs. Okay. And I suppose most of the doctors will be eligible for 75 lakh. Most of the doctors. Where does the commodity come into capital gain or business income? Commodity future trading is the business income. Okay, it is not capital gain. Audit is necessary for business. How much? See, audit is not required if your revenue is more than 50 lakhs. If your income is less than 50 lakhs, you don't need audit. If it is more than 50 lakhs, audit is required. Now, this is for profession. For businessmen, it is one. There are different criteria: 1 CR, 2 CR, and so thing. But this is for medical professional. It is not necessary to do audit every time. If it is required, then only do it. Okay. Is 10% surcharge applicable for the salary plus capital gain income more than 50 lakh? Yes. So surcharges are applicable if individual or HUF income goes above 50 lakhs. Surcharge is tax on tax. Surcharge is tax on tax. Professional fees with capital gain, form number 3. If BC is there, that means business and capital gain, form number 3. BC 3. For salaried income with capital gain, no business income. Capital gain, form 2. You remember like this, okay? Business B plus C is equal to 3. No business plus capital gain 2. Once these are clear, then remaining you go for 1 and 4. BP is not blood pressure, it is business, and business profession is not in ITR 1. Business and profession 3 and 4. Okay. B plus C 3. Okay, B plus, now this I give you a clear cut. B plus 3, 3. Not business plus capital is 2. If professional income goes to bank account, then how to show 44 ED? That is why it is. So you calculate how much is receiving in the bank account. If it is less than 50, you can declare that is a revenue, and whatever the expenses more than 50% is income. Okay, one question is remuneration given to examiner is considered as a business income or not. Okay. So if you go for the examiner, where can you put it? Is it salaried income? No. Is it given by the client or patients? No. That means it is not a professional income. Then what is there? It is other income. Some might say that you can put into the professional income because it is related to the professional. But it doesn't make a difference because the income tax rate for other income and professional income is the same. So this is just a minor variation. It will not cause any query. But if you put into other income, that is, I think, more appropriate if you are getting remuneration for essay exam. Some people may have the different opinion that you are getting in the profession only. But according to me, it is not coming from the patient, or it is not related to the patient treatment. You are going as an examiner. So that is another income source. If you are agreed, or if your CA agree, you write in the chat box. Any limitation for salaried people, government salaried people, to show business income? There are certain rules by the government say that government employees cannot do the business income. So from the taxation purpose, tax department is not bothered about whether you are corporate employee, government employee, or trust employee. Your head of the department might bother. The tax department does not bother about the employer source. So this is beyond taxation. It is in the domain of your head of the department and government rules. If any foreign conference payment we have done in a foreign currency, then the change of form is required. No, this is for the foreign payments. No, if it is income, can see that form here. So if it is a foreign income, not a foreign expense. For example, if I pay amount for the Zoom, it doesn't make it is my expense. So if you pay some money to the foreign entity, it does not change any form. It is about foreign income, not about expense. We all are paying to the imported goods, services all the time. For example, you take the YouTube subscription, Zoom subscription, trading view subscription, सब कुछ तो फॉरेनर है, तो उसका क्या लेना देना है. For remuneration income only can, remuneration means salary. ITR 4 is not for salaried people. So to carry F&O loss, is audit compulsory? If yes, how many years? To carry forward, the question is very simple. To carry forward F&O loss, is audit necessary? Answer is no. Audit criteria are not based on the loss. It is based on the revenue and turnover. If it is based, if your revenue or turnover is applicable, then some people may say that you do audit. No, it is not required, because for audit criteria, loss is not the criteria. It is the revenue criteria. Can you talk about 44 ADA today? Today we'll restrict to the forms because taxation is such a big, it cannot be considered in the one session. So if we focus on one topic, at least that topic will be get clear. If business income is 50 lakhs, but profit is less than 50, okay. Someone is saying that business income is, revenue criteria is fulfilling less than 50, but profit is less than 50%. Then you have to get the audit. You cannot file ITR 4. You can file ITR 3. Foreign share market income, you will have to go into either 2 or 3. So 1 and 4 is not applicable for the foreign income. How to save tax from F&O future trading gains? Now today's we'll focus on the ITR. One question, for F&O income, can we use section 44 AD? Answer is yes. For F&O, any businesses, 44 AD is applicable. Okay. So I think we clarified forms. So today we cannot discuss all points in the under the ITR in the taxation, but we covered ITR. One is, if you are showing income under the presumed scheme this year, loss, there is a loss, audit is necessary. So in a presumptive tax, you cannot show income. It is a presumed. You cannot show loss under the presumptive. That's clear. Your form will not be accepted only. It means when you go and file the ITR 4 and you try to file the loss, it will not accept only. What does that mean? If there is a loss, it will not accept. If there is a loss, you will have to go for ITR 3 only. That is what presumptive tax. If there is a loss, then there is, yes, if you want to, even if there is a loss and you want to show profit, then that's a different story, but no one will show the profit just to avoid the audit. See, please understand, just because there is a loss does not mean you need audit. Now this is a homework for the people who are doing F&O loss. So thoda aur likho. Just because of there is a loss, it does not mean you need audit. Audit is required when revenue criteria is fulfilled. Next question is, do CA has any responsibility when audit is done? Yes, CA are responsible for the audit, but CA are not responsible for ITR filing because it is your sign. For audit report, CA is responsible, but for ITR, CA is not responsible because you are a signing authority. For audit report, CA is the signing authority, but for whatever he signed, he is responsible for his. If he may done a wrong audit, he is there for to get punishable, whatever the. So you are asking that CA is not saying that FNO is applicable for 44 AD. Okay. For profession, it is 44 ADA. That is clear. Okay. इसमें कोई doubt नहीं है. For derivative, 44 ADA, yes. If anyone is saying that it is not applicable, then he or she has to show the evidence. If you ask me evidence, I will show, I can open here and it will show a business and revenue. It will not show any specification of business. So 44 AD is applicable for the business. Okay. Professional fees is equal to business income is the same. Professional fees and business is same as the revenue. Revenue, see, profession, BAP is same. Although there is a slight difference. Now, what is the difference between business and profession? For the profession, you need a qualification. What qualification? If you are a doctor, lawyer, architect, qualification. For business, there is no specific qualification. What you need is the service or team, capital, etc. You can start any business. For example, Dhirubhai Ambani could start business because business does not need any qualification. Doctors, lawyer need specific degree. That is a profession. So let's take a last question. If a professional income and capital gain combine more than 75 lakhs, which ITR form? Okay. Capital gain, that means 2 and 3. And if it is a profession, that means 3. 3. If there is a professional income, is there a capital gain? 3. If foreign income is present, like short-term locum visit, but total income is not eligible for 44 AD, no. Residents or non-residents have to go for 2 and 3. All right. So what we discuss today is what about persons? What is a person? When I discuss about few things about resident and non-resident, and then we discuss ITR 1 for then ITR 4. So you can remember ITR 4 is just 1 plus all condition in 1, ITR 1 plus presumptive tax income. Okay, presumptive tax regime. That's it. Then if it is a no business plus capital gain, then it will be 2. And 3 will be B plus C. Okay. Here, no business, no capital gain. If you remember this, most of your query will be solved here. Okay. Is there any reference to show my CA for the AD FNO income? So you can search section 44 ADA and that is the reference. Okay. Sometimes some CAs do not have the updated information. Sometimes some CAs has ambiguous information. You have to provide, you have to tell them, please provide me the information which you are saying. Okay. So in a law, understand this last 1 minute. Indian law is based on the common law of British. The basis of common law is if something is prohibited, it is written. That means if something cannot be done, show me the written. That is how. If someone says that this cannot be done, you said, tell me what is not there. What is not there can be done. This is the basis of law. If something cannot be done, show me the law. All right. So let's stop here. Thank you very much. And those who have written the notes, please post in the channel, basic channel. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for such an informative and insightful session on ITR forms. Thank you to all the participants for joining today's Tuesday meet and for your active participation. We look forward to seeing you again in our next session. Thank you, everyone.